Hi guys, so what I wanted to show you today and to go through was a little bit about the communist revolution in China. So following World War II, you have different ideas that start developing in China with communism. There's a conflict between the nationalists and the communists. And the US backed the nationalists, and they end up fleeing to this little island of Taiwan offshore, and the communists take control of China. Now, communist China and the revolution was led by Mao Zedong. This is this leader over here. And he promised the peasants food and land and things that they needed. So that was how he was able to gain the support of the people of China who were suffering. Now, here, this is just something one of the teachers added to this slide set that is talking about Mao's suit, and it did make a comeback at one point here in stores last year. Domino theory, this is the idea if one country falls to communism, then others will fall to communism as well. And communism in Asia was in China, Korea, and Vietnam at this point. And the worry was, as you can see in this little cartoon down here to the left, that if Vietnam fell, then Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Burma, India, Bangladesh, that all these other countries would fall to communism like a row of dominoes. So before World War II, there was a civil war in China between the communists and the nationalists. The Nationalist Party gives you some background information about here. Many people were, the new government, it says, was failing to provide for the needs of the Chinese people. Many were living in poverty. And so the people were becoming angry and became interested in the communist revolution in Russia. The Communist Party in China was led by Mao Zedong. The civil war soon began between the nationalists and communists. Mao led over 600,000 people in 1933 on a long march through the mountains in order to avoid being captured by the nationalist government. So there is Mao to the left and Jiang Xi to the right, who is the leader of the nationalists. Now, the Civil War continued until the communists won control, the communists and their Red Army. One of the reasons that they gained control was, again, because of the support of the peasant population. This is actually a film clip that you can watch and click on it. I'm not going to watch it here with you now, but this will give you more information on it. Mao declares the founding of the People's Republic of China, October 1st, 1949. Nationalists flee, as I mentioned earlier, to the island of Taiwan. Taiwan claims to be a separate nation, but China, even today, does not recognize them as a separate nation. Here's another video that you can click on and get some more information about China and Taiwan and the relationship there. So Mao is appointed head of China's government that has basically complete control at this point in 1949, controlled media, education, industries became state-owned. This should sound familiar to Russia with the Russian Revolution. Mao did want to improve living conditions for the poor, so land was seized from the wealthy and it was given to the peasants. The Great Leap Forward was his plan to develop China's agriculture and industry to modernize. Large communes were developed, 25,000 peasants living together, working on the fields. Overall, the Great Leap Forward was a disaster. The economy nearly collapsed. The farmers did not like the government making all the decision. Droughts and floods damaged the food supply. And nearly 20 million people died from 1958 to 1960 during one of the largest famines in history. Here's another video that you can click on and watch. The Cultural Revolution. This was basically, if you remember, with Stalin, that Stalin and Russia wanted to get rid of any of this opposition. That is the exact same thing here with Mao. So the Cultural Revolution was his attempt to get rid of anything that would be holding back communism. Old traditions, old customs, old habits and ideas. And there was a major propaganda campaign to help with this, to forward these new communist ideals. So Mao urged students to quit school and wage war on anyone who opposed communism as part of the Cultural Revolution. Students were organized into an army known as the Red Guards. They attacked, imprisoned, and even killed those suspected of not agreeing with Mao. This created 10 years of chaos in China. Here's Mao's Little Red Book. This is a collection of excerpts and speeches. This was required reading for citizens. So, this is your indoctrination, part of that idea of totalitarianism. I believe, I can't remember if I pulled this video out for you to watch, but this is a really good one. So, do make sure that you watch this one on the Cultural Revolution. Some other, this just kind of gives you a summary of his programs comparing the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution. So after he died, Mao died in 1976, there is a new leadership that comes forward. That new leadership made a decision, which is one of the reasons why communism is still alive in China today, which was to open some private businesses to allow China to have foreign investments. And this gave China a chance to modernize without having all the burden and the expense on them, because they had other companies, let's say such as Nike eventually, that comes in and has their factories in China. But China is still struggling with human rights, freedom of speech, religion, right to a fair trial. These are still things that were a struggle in China even today. So hopefully that helps explain a little bit more as you guys are finishing up on your assignments this week on communism in Asia. And then we'll get back to the regular Cold War topics and learn more about those next week as we continue to work on the Cold War. Take care. Bye.